Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the market caller for today, the 25th of May, 2026. We're excited to have you all here. My name is CJ, and together with me, we have the Value Flow Trading team, Cynthia, Abby, Demola, and Lekon, who are going to be joining us today for the market caller. This is the Value Flow Trading market caller, where we share our analysis, insights, trade markups, and possible trade predictions for the day and for the week, together with everyone who is part of our community and everyone who cares to join the market caller. And today we're going to be doing the same as we kick off the beginning of the week, which also shows that it is the ending of the month. So we need to be very careful, very alarmed at the chart and watch very carefully what we're doing during this period. So without further ado, we're going to be heading straight into the charts. So starting off with the analysis on gold against the dollar. This morning, we are looking at how gold is making some rebounds or possible retracements back to the upside. If you look at gold this morning, you see that that's clearly broken this level to the downside. So we might be experiencing a retracement. You can see that within the last week, it broke and closed below here. So we might be experiencing some retracement all the way to some levels above. And one of the key levels we are suspecting the price could retrace to is this level right here, which is around 4640. 4640 is where I think price might be retracing to as it heads back up. So if you look at it again on the 4-hour time frame, you see that that is one of the deep levels that price had not referenced since the move to the downside. So we might be seeing gold head all the way to this level. This is where I think gold might be heading to before we see another round of gold sell, because this is going to give it a premium location for a good sell setup. So this is one of the levels. Second level, I think the price may be going to is right here. Okay, of course, if you're familiar with the box pattern, you know why we are highlighting this level right here. So price may be heading to this level right here, having created these liquidity points around here. So this is another place that I think price may be heading to. So going ahead to grab liquidity here, then selling to the downside. So these two places are where I think price is going to go to. And with that, I will be having a bullish bias on gold this morning and on throughout the remaining part of the week until price has gotten to these levels that I've highlighted. So that is the first level, and this is the second level. So either of these two would possibly engineer price to the downside. This is what I'm expecting to play out on gold this morning. Okay. So with this, I'll be having a very strong bullish bias as we trade gold to the upside. Two places I expect price to possibly retrace to and then return. First was the high of Friday, which is right here. You can see how that price is reacting off that particular place. If it doesn't react, if it doesn't continue buying from this particular place, then it might be heading to this region here. Okay, so either of these two places will be giving us a good buy setup. So from here, right here, you can see that there is a 15-minute order block right here. The price is reacting from. So this could send price back to the upside in line with our analysis on the higher time frame. If it doesn't, then we'll be expecting gold to trace back here and back to the upside. So from here, where price is at the moment, we'll be looking for entry patterns like the bullish engulfing pattern or the evening star pattern. If you don't know what it is, just Google it and just search bullish engulfing pattern and evening star pattern. You'll see what it looks like. So if you see those kind of candlestick formations on the 5 minutes, on the 15 minutes time frame from this particular region, we'll be taking our buy and we'll be heading to the upside on the two places that we just highlighted on the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame. Okay, so that's my bias for gold. My bias this week is a buy to sell, but for today it's a buy, and hopefully by midweek it has gotten to our point of interest, so we can now take sell to the downside. Okay, that is that on gold. Now let's move to the yen basket. The yen basket, of course, like we analyzed previously, it's bearish and we're expecting it to keep being so. We're expecting the sell-off on the yen basket, and we want to see it sell all the way to the downside, or at least to this particular block here that sends price back upward. So we're expecting the move to the downside rather for the yen basket and to the upside for the yen pairs. All right, and today has started with bearish, and we're expecting it to continue so till the end of the week. So for today, And for this week, I'm bearish on the yen and bullish on the yen pair. So we're expecting this guy to sell off to this place at least. Okay, this is our expectation moving into the remaining part of this week. Now, if we look at the yen pair, starting off with GBP JPY, you see that it's already gearing up for a strong push to the upside, and we hope that plays out completely. So we're looking forward to getting good entries on GBP JPY, seeing that the yen, the bullish momentum has resumed. You can see on the daily time frame, it looks to be resuming bullish momentum because it's already in a bullish structure. We expect that to continue to the end of the week. Same thing on the 1 hour time frame already. It's been bullish since the Asian session into the London session open, and we're expecting to get possible entries for the buy. Now, the places that I'm expecting a buy for GBP/JPY, first it would have been here, but during the Asian session, price has gone ahead to tap it, which is around the high of Friday last week. So the high of Friday last week was one of the very points of interest I would have expected it to get to, and it has done that already. Right now, as GBP/JPY is gearing up for another bullish run, I'll be looking forward to seeing an engulfing pattern as well, or variation pattern, which is like the evening star pattern. So I want to see idea of the two on GBP/JPY. I want to see a variation pattern or an engulfing pattern, then I'll be taking my buy on GBP/JPY to the upside. So GBP/JPY is looking good for a buy. And where are we targeting for our buys? We'll be looking at previous highs from the last buy momentum. So I'll be targeting all the way here for GBP/JPY. You know, I like to be a few pips shy of my tech target on any trade that I'm taking. So for this particular trade, once we get this particular buy trade, we could be targeting this first point, 214.962, after which we'll be targeting 216.290. So for GBP/JPY, I'm waiting for a buy setup, and once I get it, I'll be taking my buy and placing my stop loss appropriately and take profit accordingly according to what I have analyzed right here. Okay, and then lastly, Euro JPY. Euro JPY, same thing I'm expecting on GBP/JPY. I'm very bullish on both of them. Euro JPY expected to resume the buy setup, and one of the targets for the buy is going to be right here. So I'll place this guy here. So once Euro JPY gets there, we'll be looking for another set of buy. Another set of buy trades. So for today, Euro JPY, I'm bullish. I want to see a good entry setup, and then I'll be taking my buy to the upside. So I'm waiting for an engulfing pattern, a variation pattern, or any other entry signature that prints out on Euro JPY, and I'll be taking it to the upside. So this is my bias. This is how the pairs I'm looking to trade: a buy on GBP/JPY and a buy on Euro JPY because of the bearishness of the yen, and also a buy on gold because we're expecting a retracement, which is going to give us a buy to sell. So these are the things I'm expecting on GBP/JPY, Euro JPY, and on gold. This morning, we're also going to be having an analysis on the dollar and the dollar related pairs. And to share that outlook with us, we're going to be having Cynthia joining us on the market follow this morning to share her bias on the dollar and the dollar related pairs. Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning, CJ. Good morning, everyone. That was a very wonderful analysis from CJ. I hope we are taking note of every price point that is being mentioned during the market call session so that we can take adequate opportunity to enter once price gets to our PY. With that being said, let's head straight to DXY to see what price is doing. Regular pattern. I'm going to pull up my chart now. All right, so last week we had the bias that we wanted to buy DXY, and that was exactly what we saw playing out last week. So let's see what the market has for us into this week and the remaining part of this week, right? Can you give me a moment to share my screen? So I believe we all can see my screen already. Starting off with DXY, without taking further of our time, because we have a lot to cover today. So on the weekly time frame, we've been looking at this price point to sell off from 107.490, shoulder sweep break, return right back into 107.490, and we want to keep selling and shorting DXY, right? So on the daily time frame, we were actually looking at this price point, the price tapped into, and we were speculating that we should see more push to the upside. However, on today being the 25th of May 2025, we've seen that the XY has been consolidating for a period of time now. So we may see this sharp move to the upside, this shoulder residing at 99.870 on 4-hour time frame before we see it selling all the way to the downside. So into this week, I am speculating that we may short DXY to the downside. And where are we shorting? Where are we shorting from? We want to short from 99.870 on the 4-hour time frame. So my entry is once price retraces into 99.870, I want to short DXY. And on GBP USD, let's see what price has for us on GBP USD. The weekly time frame as seen right here. We're looking at this price point for price to sell all the way to 1.24683, all the way right here. But currently, GBP USD on the weekly time frame has been consolidating. And heading to the daily time frame, let's see what price has done so far. Right. If you look at 1.32569, you will agree with me that there's a classic box pattern right here. Shoulder sweep break, price returned into this level and we saw this push to the upside, right? However, price reacted off this left shoulder for a sell. And we're seeing the reaction and we may see price retracing right back into this left shoulder for a buy and the continuation all the way to the upside. So after establishing this fact, I'm looking out for entries. I want to buy the GBP USD into the rest of this week. And where do I want to buy from? I'm looking out to buy. Once price traces into this level, 1.32298, I want to buy GBP USD, right? So I'm looking out for a sell to buy for price to sell all the way to this level. And once price gets there, I will be warming up to place my buy orders. Last on our list being Euro USD. And of course, starting off from the weekly time frame, we always want to start off from the weekly time frame. We're looking at price to trade all the way to this left shoulder at 1.06647. And once price gets there, we want to keep buying. Heading to the daily time frame, let's see what price has for us on the daily time frame for Euro USD. Right. So price tapped into this left shoulder and we've seen some push to the downside, right? And we were looking at price to take out the low right here at 1.14001. However, on the 4-hour time frame, we've seen that most recent price action seems to be bearish, right? Indicating that we're looking out for more sell opportunities. We're looking out for more sell opportunities. And where are we selling into? If you look at the 1-hour time frame, on the 1-hour time frame, I want to sell all the way to this level. I want to sell all the way to 1.14876. Once price gets there, I will be more than willing to long Euro USD into the remaining part of the week. So for this week, I'm looking to short to this level, 1.14876. And once price gets there, I'm looking to long. So I'm bullish on both Euro USD and GBP USD, and I'm bearish on the XY. And take note, there's bank holiday today in the US, in UK, and so we're not going to see so much movement in the market today. We may just see the market stalling because there is bank holiday. With that being said, I've come to the end of my analysis. We're heading straight to the synthetics market to see what the market and what price has for us this morning. Lekon, good morning. What are you seeing in the synthetics market today?
Good morning, Cynthia. Thank you very much. That was a very insightful analysis for the dollar. All right. So this morning for the synthetic, this weekend has been a brief quiet, and on some pairs on the synthetic market, it's been a brief chaotic. However, some of the peers are giving some heads up for this week, which we are looking out for to see what is going to happen. So far so good this week, but most of our preferred pairs like V75, 75-1S has been in a very quiet state for the past few days now. So we got to explore some other synthetic indices. And this morning, starting with this 91S, looking at it from the daily perspective, you're going to see that price has been a bit bullish, right, all the way to the upside here. However, on the 4-hour time frame, we want to see, looking at the last swing here from the 24 hours, you can see that structure has been a bit bearish to the downside. After this consolidation, we saw how that price broke structure more to the downside. And moving forward, we want to see more push also to the downside since we trade in line with the trend. And if you look at it from the 4-hour perspective, you are going to see that price is pushing forward and is aiming towards taking out this liquidity, and for us to get POI of where price is going to tap into so that we can take advantage of the sell. Now, if you come a little bit lower to the 2-hour time frame, you are going to see clearly on the 2-hour that price is a bit in this zone, If you look at it here, you're going to see we have our boss pattern, showing up here. We've seen the sweep of liquidity around this level here. Even at this zone, we see the sweep of liquidity, and we've seen how the price has broken structure and creating liquidity to be grabbed. So I'm of the opinion, if we can be patient enough to see price trade a little bit more to this level, take out this liquidity and tap into this order block that has been marked here, then we'll begin to look for opportunity to short this 91S. All right, so this is going to be a markup for this 91S. After price, take out this liquidity point, tap into this order block, and we'll go to our 15-minute to check our confirmation entry, which is a bearish engulfing for this sell that we are waiting for. So when price get there, we can easily begin to short this 75, this 91S all the way to the downside, with we knowing that this is going to be our SL, and we are just doing our 1:3 or 1:2. All right, so that is going to be it for this 91S. Then after that, looking at this 75 to this 75, this 15-1S rather. If you look at this 15-1S, you're going to see after the massive bull run that we see here, we see how that price pull all the way back and take out this inducement that we have here, and that is early hours of today. So today seems more to be like a bullish day for us. We are going to see today more like a bullish day, and even using our typical boss pattern too. This is the sweep of liquidity, this low sweep, this low here. So this is going to be, price is currently sitting in our POI, right? So this is it. Price is currently sitting in our POI, and at the same time, inducement has been taken out around this point here that we can easily see. Inducement has been taken out here, right? And since the inducement has been taken out, all we need to do is go to our 15-minute time frame to look for opportunity to long. All right, and price already giving us a clear move on the 15-minute time frame. At some extent, we've seen some level of market structure shift somewhere here, right? And what I'm expecting to see is more pullback to this order block here. And the reason why I'm picking this order block is because it has more reference points in there, and it also has some You can see the fair value gap there. This is the fair value gap, and we have our order block there, and it's even in a discount level. So I want to buy from discount and not premium. So I'm waiting for price to pull back more into this zone. When price tap into this level and I see something similar to this, then we long it all the way. And where are we going to long this 15-1S2 is going to be somewhere around this top where we're going to buy this 15-1S from this zone with our stop loss just below here. Our stop loss is going to be below the daily liquidity level, which is that low that took out the liquidity, and we are longing all the way up. That's going to be from the if you look at it from the 24-hour perspective, it's going to be something similar to this. We're going to have something similar to this here, right? With our stop loss just we are going to have our stop loss just below this level here, right? Our stop loss is going to be here. Then we are targeting all the way to the top. Okay, so that is going to be it for this 15-1S for today, knowing fully well that price is currently in our PY. And I know someone will be like, why? What if price did not come back to our POI where we are expecting it to get to here on the 15-minute time frame? Yes, you are very correct. If price did not get there, it keeps moving, right? But looking at the stop loss, if you can execute your buy right now, you can go ahead. However, I'm still of the opinion that there's high probability we see price come all the way to this zone, and we can easily follow it all the way to the upside. All right, so that is for this 15-1S today. All right, and just to see what is going on 75-1S and 75 itself, you are going to observe that on the daily time frame of 75-1S, we've been expecting price to trade into this POI before it took up somewhere here some days ago. You can see into this level here that price came all the way to, and the price did not really tap into that POI. It just come here and we keep moving. So I'm still of the opinion that until price comes and tap into this zone, then we can easily follow through, knowing fully well that this low here took out this one. If you look at it from price perspective, you are going to see that clearly. So if you check it on the lower time frame again, be it 2-hour time frame, you are going to see what I'm trying to see very clearly there. And looking at that, we have an order block around that level where price is most likely going to come into. You see, this is a zone we marked on the daily time frame, and price is most likely going to tap into it and even tap into somewhere around this zone, and we can begin to follow through. So I'm of the opinion that we should wait for V75-1S until it gets to this zone. So someone will be like, we won't just fold our ends. Why can't we join the sell to the downside all the way? I'm not seeing any entry for the sell unless you just want to jump in. The best way to take our entry for the sell was after this guy formed here, then we are going to use one of our strategy on the floor to trade it to the downside. But since price is already moving, it's not going to be a very good one to just jump in and follow through. Instead, allow price to meet you at the point of your analysis before you go in, not just gambling. All right, so that is that for the synthetic market for this 75-1S, this 91S, and this 15-1S. All right, the rest of the synthetic market has been a bit quiet until we see any entry signature. We definitely would share with us on the market color group. Once again, we would love to have you in our community, the ATM cash flow community, where we make our trade calls and give our entry and exit level there. All right. Once again, thank you very much. Right now, we'll be going into the indices analysis, the indices market, to see what is going on there, and we take advantage of any entries available. So we are going to be hearing from Demola right now to tell us what is going on in the indices market. Good morning, Demola.
Good morning, Lekon. Thank you for that wonderful analysis on synthetics. All right. Indices market this morning is quite interesting. Anybody observing the market would notice what I just said to be correct, to be true. We have the market opening up with strong rally this morning, right? And then in US 100, let's start with US 30. On US 30, we had this huge rally this morning, early this morning. Then put on 4-hour time frame, right? Like a jump gap, anyone needs to do, right? But then it was really massive this morning. And then I believe price is riding on the sentiment we have in the market. AI is driving price movements, and also the resolution, right? Now resolution that we expect to be over very soon with Iran also is a driver, major driver of this rally in the market. So we see the market cooling off from all the drama that we've had in the last 3 months, right? From the military actions, the threats, the responses from both parties. Everything seems to be coming down, right? And that is now sending stock prices to the upside, combined with AI optimism, right? AI capital injection is also influencing price to the upside. So what do we expect this morning? As it is now, price has left all our area of interest, right? We're thinking price is going to come down to this area of interest last week, Friday, but that's not the case. We're seeing powerful rallies to the upside. So it makes sense for you to even scalp for buys, right? If you see a minor retracement, you want to scalp buys to the upside, because knowing US 30, I don't think we would come back all the way into this area of interest again, this 50,000 level. I really don't think so. The next quarter point I'm seeing from this zone will be 51,500, right? 51,500. The journey from 50,000 to 51,000 was quite how will I put it now? What's the right word to use? Wasn't straight, right? But then we can see a smooth rally from 51,000 to 51,500 to be more interesting. So that's like the next ideal psychological quarter point level we should see price rallying to. And so therefore, if you see a retracement on lower time frame, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, you better want to take advantage of it, right? We have this other block sitting down pretty much if price comes to this zone, I want to give it a shot and then take that risk, because that's the closest area of interest we have now in this market. I hope price comes back into this level. If it does, fine and good, then we would want to take that trade. All right. This is 1:6.8 R, or if you want to cover here, 1:5.0 R, right? And then you're looking for a more refined entry, and all of that can get even as high as 1:7.9 or 7.5, right? So that's what we're looking at this morning. It's Monday morning. The market's has just opened, and in fact, we wouldn't see the bulk of the volume we want now until New York market open, where the New York stock market opens properly, and then would see the momentum in this market. So I believe the market is bullish. Everything is looking to the moon in terms of being bullishness. We are dovish across board, sentiment-wise, technical analysis-wise, and every other thing, right? Except, of course, the number one factor leading this market is the president of the United States. So if he comes on Twitter and say, okay, Iran, they are beginning to prove stubborn and all of that, that will make the market react also again, right? But notwithstanding, what we have so far is been positive, and we believe that that would be the tone for the rest of the week. If nothing changes, and then we can bank on that to take buys in the market. So for me this week, it will be more of scalping, and scalping, not even day trading now, scalping NAS, S&P 500, and also US 30, because we are bullish, right? I'm looking for buys. Any opportunity to buy, I am buying. I'm long on it. All right, that being said, let's move quickly to NAS 100. We have almost the same thing across board for NAS 100, right? We have almost the same thing across board for NAS. On the daily time frame, we can see very clearly that we are bullish. We are bullish. We are bullish. Sentiment, technicals, they are all pointing to a bullish market, right? And we are now on 29,905 price point level. The obvious psychological point around number we want to see is 30,000. So you can be sure that price is going to get to 30,000 today, right? So if it's to scalp until it gets to 30,000, you can look for that. But that 30,000 mark, I am very certain. Today will be the day we'll see it. 30,000 psychological level. Because that's the next level, obviously, that resonates with market psychology. Coming 30,000. Okay, and so I believe this is a level we should see price coming to, right, today. And then we are very close to that, right? We're very close to that. So we are not that far from 30,000 QP level, quarter points level, or psychological level. So that means for me today, I'll be looking for opportunity to scalp to the upside. Once price gets into this level today, most likely I can just calm down and then wait for the market to give me more candlesticks that will now determine whether or not I want to continue scalping. But I know for sure that price would find its way to this level, even if it is a test, right? You're just testing that level and then quickly reject off it. So I'll be looking for buys to capitalize on that move, right? Combining our assumption of price and sentiment being bullish and also fundamental being bullish. With the technical, we already know that it's bullish. So that would help support my thesis for a buy this week. And on NAS 100, especially the 30,000 quarter point level looks very, very interesting. Very interesting, right? That's the next psychological level we want to see. All right, moving on very quickly this morning, again to S&P 500 without wasting much of our time. Like I mentioned, we had a jump this morning, a rally to the upside. So there's even a gap, but definitely price is going to come back to close up this gap. Definitely, right? On the daily time frame, price is also bullish, right? On the 4-hour time frame, what do we have? We have bullishness also. So today we can see a bit of retracement and then price continuing to just do its thing. We have this gap here. Price can just retest briefly and then continue, right? Let's look at other area. Okay. By the time we go to the 1-hour time frame, it's even much more than that. You have this on the 1-hour time frame. Interesting, right? So no problem. Today we'll just be looking at the market. New York market open will determine for us whether or not we want to pull the trigger. Like I mentioned, no swing trade for now. It's more of scalping, right? Entering into the market, looking for box strategy on the 5 minutes, 1 minute, but I would just say you should stick with 5 minutes. And with that, you can now, take advantage of what you're seeing in the market. For me, I'm buying, I'm bullish until I see anything that changes that bias, right? Otherwise, the market is bullish, right? The market is bullish, and then I want to flow with direction of the market. That being said, this will be all for indices this morning. Any price setup or opportunity that is seen will be sent to the market caller group, like and we can all take advantage of that from the group. I'm sure you're in the community. If you're not finding your way into it, it's valueflowtrading.com/market caller, right? And then you just join the group and then anticipate our signals. All right. So the last analysis for today, we'll be looking at the commodity market. I believe Abigail has something powerful for us on that end. Over to you, Abigail. What are you seeing today?
Hello, Demola. Hi, everyone. So quickly looking at the commodity currencies market to see the opportunities that present themselves today. We're starting off with a look at AUD/USD. From last week's analysis, which happened on Friday, we discussed how AUD/USD was giving signs of a continuous bearish move following the fundamental news release that we had come out on the Aussie. So looking at that and starting off from a higher time frame, you'd see how price changed character somewhere around here. Predominantly, when you zoom out to AUD/USD, you see that price has been buying for a very long time, except for here where we now had a change of character and price. We're not looking at price possibly giving us a confirmatory break of structure from where it currently is. So price sold, changed character around this zone instead of giving us a higher high and now retraced into this level back. However, even though it has retraced, there's been no sunshine on the higher time frame to show that the retracement has come to an end. So I'm looking at this and thinking to myself, okay, price could continue to buy till that sunshine is printed on the 4-hour time frame before we now see that confirmatory break of structure that we are currently looking out for. On the 1-hour time frame, you'd see that I already marked out some level points, which would serve as our point of interest. Take note of that. If you do not have the indicators on your charts, don't let it, distract you. Just take note of the price point and put that on your naked chart, and let's see the opportunities that we have to make some money from the market this morning. So the first point of interest I marked out is 0.71841. The second one is 0.71330. I'm basically saying that AUD/USD may have a bit more room if it doesn't hold around this resistance point, which I'll show you on the 5-minute time frame. It could come all the way here, buy into the zone till we see the sunshine printed on the H4 time frame, which is why I mentioned it before it now continues to sell following the weakness that we saw. However, if price does not hold at this level and breaks above and continues to buy, then of course we're going to be checking for more confirmatory figures and data for us to now act accordingly. But for now, my bias on AUD/USD is for a sell. Coming to the 5-minute time frame as well, you'd see where price is currently reacting off of, and that is the resistance point which we had a day before yesterday's high. Price traded into that zone, came back down, went back to retest that level, and has also sold back into our next resistance, acting as possible support level as well. So from here, we're now thinking, okay, is AUD/USD going to come violate this zone and trade into this level, or come into this level, or all the way down here? Everything is possible with the market. And today is a Monday, so price is just now fully moving and giving us a clear direction. We'll see how this plays out. However, if price is able to break through this point, I believe AUD/USD is going to give us more sell pressures all the way down here. And if it fails to and comes to break above and retest, then we'll check in to see what is pushing price to the upside. But overall, my bias for AUD/USD is temporarily a sell. Looking at NZD/USD on the H4 time frame as well, what do we see? Now, NZD/USD has now traded back into this range. It has now traded it's currently in a range on the 4 hours time frame, and until we see a separation of this move, we will now not be so much clear on the direction that NZD/USD is taking. However, when you come to the 1-hour time frame, you can see that price has a possible liquidity level where it could trade into at 0.59008. Second point of entry, which is where price traded off of, is 0.58555. So NZD/USD could separate from here and then trade above to come and test the zone before a retracement back into the range and eventually a proper separation that will continue to trade lower in line with the change of character that we also saw on this asset class. So coming to the 5-minute time frame now, you see that we have 4 levels that have been marked out. First POI that has been marked out on NZD/USD is 0.58876. Second point of interest is 0.58799. The third point of interest marked out is 0.58465. The final one is 0.58433. So I'm basically saying NZD/USD is going to sell from here. And if it takes out this level point, we know that it has more room to keep on selling downward. However, if this previous resistance now end up acting as support, or this previous support still holding, then we'd see NZD/USD pushing further up to the upside. And that's why we need to see all of those confirmational buyers that would make us be certain of what the market is doing. But of course, we also have the Telegram community group where we would post these markups when we see everything fully aligned as we would prefer. Finally, looking at the USD card under the commodity currency asset class, you'd see that on the 4-hour time frame, this buy, we made some good money from USD card buy last week. So USD card has now bought, new sunshine has been printed here. Because of this, we're expecting the temporary retracement or an eventual reversal. You see that price already came to retrace into a previous resistance that now acted as support, hence continuing to push USD card to the upside. However, for me to continue to buy USD card, I would honestly prefer to see a deeper retracement so that I'm not just, catching the crumbs. If this USD card buy is going to continue, come and give me good enough retracement, or especially on the 5-minute time frame, I'll show you that, and then I'll continue to buy this asset class. But for now, everything is still pointing towards a buy move for USD card. On the 1-hour time frame, the point of interest I've marked out are 1.37719, the second one being 1.37246. Moving down to the 5-minute time frame now to look at the 4 points of interest that we have marked out. The first point of interest is right here, 1.38224. The second one is 1.37983. The third one is 1.37725. The final one being 1.37438. Now, I know that these level points are being called a bit fast. I understand that. You can simply rewind this live session on YouTube to see the numbers that were called, and you can now put that on your chart as well. So this is the support, the resistance to support level where USD card bought from this morning and has already given about 20 pips thereabouts, which is a good way to start the week here. Now, I want to see if this resistance zone is going to hold. I would want to see USD card come and trade at the barest minimum into 1.37719 so that I can continue to buy this asset class from here. And if it happens to violate this zone, you know that it is coming here. That's basically how POI acts. You either stay here, stay here, stay here. So USD card can actually violate this resistance point and continue to buy from here, which means that we would not be part of the move except we see a bit more confirmations on the 15-minute time frame when price comes to reverse into a good enough level, right? However, I'm still fine allowing price to go. I would want to buy low. So come and give me retracement. If I had caught this trade from the beginning here, then it should have been good. But from where price currently is, I am not forcing myself into the market till I see a proper retracement and a continuation of this asset class. So as a recap, AED/USD and NZD/USD is giving me a sell bias, and USD card is giving me a buy bias. And what will make me take those trades is when I see my confirmations printed on the 5-minute time frame and the 1-minute time frame. Should my bias change, I'm going to be putting that in the market color community. With that being said, thank you so much for joining our market color session today, being the 25th of May 2026. We're going to reconvene again. If you're not part of the market color community, simply type valueflowtrading.com/market color so you can be a part of the Telegram group where we drop all of these amazing market color signups and trades and trade calls. And okay, and that's pretty much it. We're ending it here now. See you next time. Cheers. God bless. Thank you for joining.